Thank you, Anne. As Anne mentioned, I am a U.S. Department of State Foreign Service officer. I'm assigned to the U.S. Africa Command, which is an interesting position because as an American diplomat, I'm working very closely with the United States military in Africa, and to do so during a time of COVID, a time of crisis, has been very, very interesting. So I just wanted to first say that it's been really impressive to hear from all of you, to learn what's happening within everyone's country, and I in some ways apologize that I don't come with the same depth and breadth of knowledge of your countries as all of you have. I did have an opportunity to live in Morocco for 2 years as part of the U.S. Foreign Service. I was grateful for that experience, but it was some time ago, so unfortunately not relevant to our sort of COVID discussions today. On a sort of the level of how this is impacting the U.S. military and diplomacy, American diplomacy, I just wanted to highlight people, programs, and process, if I may. From the perspective of people, there has been a great effort from both the Department of Defense and the Department of State in ensuring the safety of American citizens during this time of COVID. We've seen the repatriation of over 70,000 American citizens worldwide, many of them coming from the African continent. That is the largest repatriation of American citizens that's ever been undertaken. So quite a heavy lift. With that has come the need to reduce staff at U.S. embassies across the continent, and in North Africa in particular. And so it does have an impact on our ability to continue with the level of engagement that I think many of you are familiar with, which leads me into the next part I wanted to bring up, which is programs. COVID has definitely had an impact on our ability to maintain engagement. The IMET program, for example, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, it is not able to continue. We are not sending students from overseas to our military schools in the United States at this particular time. And then finally, process. There has been, from the policy level at the Secretary of Defense, restrictions of movement of U.S. personnel, which is having an impact on our ability, I think, to fully engage. Now, I never like to look at things from the challenges that are presented. I always like to look at the opportunities that have come about. And first of all, let me just say that COVID has no doubt been much more than a public health emergency and crisis. It's extending into an economic crisis, political crisis, if you will. We understand all of that, and we definitely look at the totality of the current environment from Stuttgart, Germany. But I do want to say, in terms of opportunities, you know, I can't remember who brought up Libya, but the commander, General Townsend, has been able to travel to Libya. He was there on June 22nd with the United States ambassador. I think that's a really good indication that despite all of the concerns around us, we are still able to maintain defense and diplomacy in North Africa to the level that we feel is necessary to ensure that malign actors are not taking advantage and worsening situations, for example, in Libya. You know, I also want to point out, in terms of opportunities, we have made a fairly significant donation to Morocco, about I believe $100,000 worth of PPE, and we're very grateful to have such a strong partnership with our Moroccan counterparts to make that happen. So I will leave it at that. I hope it's not too short, but I very much am interested in your questions and perhaps having a conversation in the direction that everyone sees fit. So I'll end there. Thank you, Anne.